Hey, what's up, everyone? It is Jamil Jude, your artistic director here at Kenny Leon's True Colors Theater Company, and I am live here for episode three. Man, we've already been doing this thing for 3 weeks. Episode three of the True Colors podcast. Today, I am going to be joined by a couple of the women who helped make not just the She Griot season happen, but our last hit play. Schoolgirls of African Mean Girls play by Jocelyn Bio. I'm really excited to be joined by a couple of the women who brought that to life. So you'll hear from them a little bit later. They're going to join the Instagram Live. As you see, we are learning the technology, so we're going to continue to bring you all amazing programming. We hope that you find it as interesting as I am finding it in all of the work that the internet is a brave place, and I'm definitely learning all of that. So thank you for tuning in. Thank you for joining us today. Again, today is episode three of the True Colors podcast, where we hope to bring you a little bit of insight on how we do what we do at True Colors. And again, today I'm joined by a couple of special guests, the women who make the She Griot season happen at True Colors. So the first person that I want to bring in, her name is Kristen Jeter. And if you had an opportunity to see Schoolgirls of the African Mean Girls play, you saw Kristen do an amazing job as Mercy. She brought her own flair and style to the role, along with Isuke Kanke. They really made those cousins feel like twins on stage, and they really were the kind of comedic center of the piece. So we're really excited to have her about her work in Schoolgirls of the African Mean Girls play, but also want to learn more about her as an artist. She's a vocalist. She has been with Book of Mormon. And there she is. Now she's on the screen. See, look,
I thought
technology
you
is
were talking
working.
about
Hey, Kristen.
Hi. What's
How you
going
doing?
on? I'm pretty good. Yeah.
Good. So let's just go ahead and get right into it.
Okay.
Kristen, talk to us a little bit about your role in Schoolgirls of the African Mean Girls play.
Yes. Okay. So I played Mercy, one half of a frickin' frack duo with Gifty. We were both cousins in the same family, obviously. And oh my goodness, I'm nervous. So yeah, we're live out here. Hello.
Hey.
So we were in a boarding school, the Abry School Girls, Abry School for Girls, and we were underclassmen, and everything that our queen bee Paulina wanted to do, we wanted to do. Also, we wanted to follow in her footsteps, and it was so much fun to put myself back in high school times and to think about what it was like to have a lot of girlfriends. I grew up cheerleading as well, and so it brought back a lot of memories.
Yeah, that's good stuff. So, when actors get involved in the process, right, like everyone kind of comes at it from their own way, and that's what's so unique about Ensemble. Talk to us a little bit about Ensemble, how you all built it and created it, but also how you found your way inside of it.
Right. I just tried to look for clues in the script, look at what other people said about my character, and I really built a lot of things out with Isoke, who played Gifty as well. We would talk about what what kind of home life did Mercy and Gifty have, since it wasn't talked about in the play, and I think that informed um, what we did, because we got clues like Mercy's dad is a doctor, but he was very frugal and wouldn't buy them flashy things. I guess he like appreciated the struggle and wanted to, his girls to appreciate that too and not be spoiled. But that can cause a lot of social pressure at
Yeah.
school. And so I was remembering back when I was in middle school and everybody needed to have like, the right kind of shoes. The right kind of shoes can like make or break you socially. So I drew from my own memory there, because I had city sneaks from Payless, and they weren't Adidas with 3 stripes or K-Swiss with 5 stripes. So I understood that need to cozy up to Paulina, who was going to give her that social status that she wouldn't otherwise have on her own. So I drew from a lot of personal experience and just talking to the ladies too about what they had been through. We found that so many of us could relate to what was going on in the story, and just hearing about other people's experiences helped make it more real, helped fill it out.
Word, word. So, this season we have dedicated to She Griots, our Black women storytellers. So we've been using the hashtag She Griot all season long, where we're celebrating Black women and the 52 Weeks of Women, whatever, all that
Yeah.
stuff you can go find on our website, truecolorstheater.org. Here's the plug. But
Yes.
Kristen, um, I want you to talk a little bit about the She Griots in your life. Um, how have you
Yeah, I
been
was thinking about that
affected?
in this one
I want to
story.
make sure that I still got you. Is it our end or is it your end, my end? Chris, you still there?
Um, okay, I can see you, but can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you now. Are you still there? Here we are, troubleshooting it, live troubleshooting. Jeter, you
Yes,
still there?
I'm still here. I even switched data instead
Great.
of Wi-Fi to try to see if that would be better. But can you see me now?
Yeah, yeah, we're all good. We're good. We still got you.
Okay, great.
Good stuff.
Okay, good.
So I just wanted you to speak a little bit about the She Griot season and what has it meant to you to be part of a season celebrating Black women storytellers, but also wanted to give you a space to talk about any She Griots in your life or how you've seen
Yeah,
yourself as a.
this this was such a gift working with True Colors in this time to have a story that was about 8 Black women, played by 8 Black women, and directed by Black women as well, and to have all the volumes of women in the audience really relating to the story. That was what the best is, because as a storyteller you hope that we are that we're putting up a mirror that helps people understand themselves and maybe see outside of themselves, see another person's shoes to try to walk in. And it really felt like we did that. There were some people who didn't know that other people went through certain experiences, like fair-skinned women experiencing colorism. And my mother saw the show, and she's very fair-skinned, but we've always identified as Black. She's got some Native American in her family, but what have you. She's an African American woman who was born in 1950. And so when I came out into the lobby after the show, I found that she was talking with another woman that she didn't know about her experience. And that I thought was so beautiful and so special. And you don't see that because honestly, there aren't a lot of stories that are, you know, about the complex relationships that women have with each other. So that was amazing. And I also wanted to mention this one She Griot. She was in the Fresh Fruit Festival, which is this queer
Mhm.
theater festival in Tribeca in New York. I used to live in New York, and she told her story. It was a big monologue about her being Black and Muslim and a lesbian woman, and it was the first time that I had seen kind of intersection on the stage and from her viewpoint. And that's when I realized that the truth is so universal. The things that people go through, disappointing their parents, or the more specific a story is, the more powerful it is, because everybody understands, heard. And yeah, it was wonderful, and she had a beautiful praise, and I'd never seen anything like that. And it was one of those amazing moments. And she was a dark skinned Muslim woman.
Yeah, that's what's up. I just wanted to make sure that we are shouting out a couple people who are giving you so much love. AC Pence, we see you. Drama Guy 16, thank you for enjoying the show and love to Kristen and her work. So thank you guys. So
Oh,
for checking us out and keeping us. Kristen, before I let you go, I did want an opportunity to talk to you. Of course, you were amazing in Schoolgirls, but you've been an amazing and on stage, both in Atlanta and in New York and on national tours. So I wanted an opportunity to ask you, what is that tour life like? I know you were with Book of Mormon for a while, and you even got a chance to go recently out of the country with that show. Just speak to people about touring as a performer.
Oh, it is such an amazing experience. And I've been reflecting about it all recently because the tour that I was on, the second national tour, the Jumamosi tour of the Broadway show, The Book of Mormon, just announced that it's not going to be reopening, when the world does get running again. And so everybody's been posting pictures and photos and stuff over the years. And it really was the defining experience of my career so far. 100%. It made me the performer that I am because there are so many different variables. It's like if you can do a show in many different places, like your roots just feel stronger, like a tree as an actor. And so to pick up and move the show weekly was amazing and so tough, and you had to learn to be as much like an athlete of a performer as you can, because your actions off stage have consequences. You have to really train up and be focused on being able to give people the best show possible. And so to like keep running, keep the challenge of 8 shows a week, keep putting yourself in that position was just simply incredible. And you just realize that it makes a difference. There's this couple whose name is Max and Dawn, and Max said that after his father passed away, coming to see the Book of Mormon was the first time he had laughed since then.
Mm.
So you realize that the work that you do does matter, and there's a reason why so many people kept coming to see it, and that keeps pushes you forward. But yeah, it's hard to be on a bus and plane every Monday, but you also got to go to so many different places. I have just memorabilia all over the house now of like all the places that I've been. I was just Sorry, I'm getting winded here, but I was just throwing around this rock that I picked up from a beach in San Francisco, and I just came from Auckland, New Zealand. Their
Hmm.
company there, I was supposed to finish out their Auckland engagement, and I technically did, but it was after 1 week instead of 6. So it was an opportunity that's brought me more places than I ever would have dreamed of going, and I'm really, really grateful for it. Yeah.
Good, man. Well, we're grateful for you for joining us today, for kicking off the first set of interviews for episode 3. We're going to join Brittany in right here. So thank you so much, Kristen,
Okay.
for joining us. And we're looking forward to seeing you soon, back on stages soon when we're all able to gather again.
Yeah,
Cool, y'all. That
absolutely.
was Kristen Jeter. She played Mercy in our show, Schoolgirls of the African Mean Girls play. And right now, we're going to go ahead and bring in her counterpart, Brittany Deneen. So, Kristen,
You
go ahead
got
and do
this,
me a solid.
cousin.
You got this, cousin. Go ahead and do me a solid and end it here. Let's see. Let me see if I know how to do this. If I can
I
end it
can
on
leave.
my
Bye, guys.
end.
Stay happy, stay healthy.
All right, see you later. All right, so Jeter has just left again. Now we're going to go ahead and bring in Brittany Deneen. She played Nana, and I know that after speaking to a couple people in the audience, they always said that Nana was one of their favorite characters. I'm not, as a producer, I'm never allowed to have a favorite character. I loved everybody equally, but I will say that Brittany was a joy to have backstage. So, Brittany, thanks for joining us here.
Hello.
Welcome. It's crazy, right? It's crazy to
Yeah, this
have.
is weird. It's so great to connect with people, though.
Yeah, man. It is. We're finding that in this time, right? Just being able to see someone's face, even if it is on a digital space, it's been
Hmm.
amazing.
Yeah.
So, I offer you the same kind of opening. Tell us a little bit about you and about your character, Nana.
All right. Yeah. So Nana was an underclassman with Mercy and Gifty. We were, the, you know, second, third, and fourth in command in Paulina's whole. Well, I guess third, fourth, and fifth in command.
Right.
But we were just like the young ones that they were trying to bring up, and Nana was the easy target of the group. She was bigger than the rest of the girls. She had everybody else, how I thought about it, everybody else had an issue with Nana's weight, and made it so she should have an issue as well. Yeah, but through that show, she also just like gains her voice. She learns, what's right and what's wrong and who she is and how she wants to live. There was a blurb in her like bio in the script that says always tries to do the right thing. And that was kind of my through line, because it was also what you know, helped her break at the end of with Paulina, because she always wants to be morally correct. And sometimes there is gray area. Sometimes you want to, you know, do what your friends want you to do because that people pleaser comes out. But I think she just really learns that the only person she needs to please is herself, because, you know, Paulina threw her right under the bus the second she got a chance.
Right away.
Definitely learned that lesson. And it, you know, kind of like what Kristen said, I had to draw on a lot of my high school experiences, because I was Nana without the arc, you know? So I let people tell me who I was, what I should do, who I should be, and never, you know, really came around until I went to college and just met new people and started off correctly. But I remember all throughout high school, I was always just kind of listening to other people tell me who I should be and what I should do. And so I definitely use a lot of that for Nana, and a lot of that frustration for Nana.
Great. Brittany, you know, as actors are navigating careers and things like that, and I know for you, your change, having just recently, not that long ago, moved here to the Atlanta metro area. Can you talk a little bit about what that journey is? How have you worked to try to set yourself apart? What are you learning about yourself in this moment that's helping you prepare yourself for when we're gathering again to go out and attack that career?
Yeah, so when I first moved to Georgia, I learned like a lot, because I had saved up a lot of money because I was doing like a TYA tour. So I did nothing, like they paid for where I slept, they gave me the per diem. I did nothing but save it. So when I first moved here, I didn't do anything. I didn't work. I just wanted to get my bearings. I just wanted to know where I had moved. I wanted to kind of immerse myself before I just like started working. And then I got into a restaurant and I worked. There was actually like a proof point for me, where I realized I was working doubles every day at 2 different restaurants. So if I wasn't at one restaurant and I was off, I had a double at the other one. I was just always working and I had no time for me. And I remember just like breaking down and saying, I didn't move here to be in somebody's restaurant. Like, I'm good at it, but that's not why I came here. And immediately after that was when I started really, I was pursuing it before, but that was when I got really intentional about it. That was when I pulled back from the restaurant. I said, you know what, I will make it work with what I get. And I started doing like stand-in stuff, which is like really good just to learn the basics of being on film and stuff. And I was auditioning, I'd done Unifieds, but it took me a really long time to just, you know, start seeing people again. I was noticing every time I went into an audition, I saw somebody new. And so with Schoolgirls, Jodie Feldman actually cast it. That was my third time seeing her in like my whole thing. And so it was a lot of me, that first 2 years was just me meeting people and letting them see me work more than one time, so they know, okay, this is what she does consistently. This is who she is, you know, because we're not a lot of people like to just take somebody new and be like, I don't know who you are. Yeah. All of your credits are Virginia. You have a Utah credit. I don't know what this is. I understand that I'm not necessarily like the safe bet. So it just took a long time just to get people to see me again and be like, oh, it's her. Oh, it's her. And then, you know, Tinashe, she was talking about how that was one of her goals, that wonderful woman. She was talking about how that was one of her goals in directing, was to bring new faces. And so I just am so appreciative that our alignment was right there, that here I was a new face and here she was with that mission. Because I mean, Schoolgirls was one of the only plays that I've read and like completely seen myself. Like I've been able to kind of like put myself places and say, oh yeah, I could be this. But I read Schoolgirls and I said, okay, hi, Nana. Like, nice to meet you. You've been here. And so that was just like a perfect alignment of everything. When you guys announced that season, I was like, if you don't get Schoolgirls, you have got to reconsider everything.
Well, we're so glad that we have you, you know, and it's one of the joys that, you know, in this job, right? Like this is still my first year of this job. And one of the joys I'm finding is that we were able to bring 8 new actors on stage for the
Yeah.
first time on a True Color stage. So it's those things that like, oh, like I didn't know that that would be a joy of mine in getting into the AD position. And one thing that you said that I really wanted to comment on, because it harkens back to something that we talked about last week in episode 2, which was both saying no to grow. You had to say no to the restaurant industry so you could really grow deeper in the work that you were doing. But you're also your desire to say yes to learn and do on-camera stuff and things like that. So you're really modeling a lot of the stuff that we talked about with a couple of our viewers last week. So that's awesome. Before I let you go, I really wanted an opportunity for you to shout out any she griots in your life, any mentors or anything like that, or how have you grown into and accepted the role of being a she griot yourself?
I definitely felt that badge put on me during Schoolgirls. There was one specific moment where a little girl came up to me and she said, I have friends that they're not my friends, they bully me. And to be able to sit down and just like talk to her about, you know, what Nana was feeling, because, you know, when they're that young, because it was a younger girl, when they're that young, they can't really separate it. They don't really think, okay, this is a completely separate girl. She wouldn't know what Nana was feeling. So like to be able to just kind of pull it back in and say, well, you know, Nana had to stand up for herself and you do too. And you see Nana join the soccer team. You know, she learned so many things about herself in standing up. It was such a great moment to be a she griot, you know. And I mean, now I'm actually back in Virginia because all of this is happening, and I figured if I was going to shelter in place, I'd do it at
Okay.
home.
Okay, VA.
So I am home with my mom and my sister and all of these women that I feel my fibers tightening, if that makes sense. I remember where, because it's so easy to like lose your roots when you go somewhere else, and so to also just come back here and be just bombarded with these like strong, loving women who have grown past anything that I remember. I remember, you know, my mom and my sister being completely different women, and now their hearts are just like wide open and they're great. People would just sit and watch. I find myself watching my mom. I find myself watching my sister, and just seeing how they're working and navigating their life. Yeah, it's been really great to be a she griot and then come home and watch these women that I've obviously looked up to my whole life, but have a completely different respect for them, how they're, you know, bosses in their own right at their jobs and in their life. They're just all taking it by storm.
That's awesome. Well, Brittany, I appreciate you spending a little bit of time chatting with us. Thank you
Yeah.
for appearing. It's so good to see your face.
Thank
Safe
you
travels.
for having me.
Safe travels back to Atlanta. We miss you. We
I'm coming back.
can't wait
Don't
to have you
worry.
back. I know. And make sure you send love to everybody in Virginia. So thank you very much. That's Brittany Deneen. She played Nana for us in Schoolgirls at African Mean Girls Play.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, good stuff, y'all. I hope y'all are enjoying this, man. I'm having a blast. I'm getting my Montel Williams on. I even Montel Williams, whichever the ball-headed talk show. Thank you, Lauren. That's my wife, Lauren, with the assist. Getting my bald head black guy interview skills on. Right now, we're about to bring in Ibi Owolabi. So Ibi was the dialect coach for us here on Schoolgirls at African Mean Girls Play, but she's really an amazing director, and I'm really excited to talk to another director. So let me go ahead and bring Ibi in. Ibi, what's going on? Thank you, Ibi, so much. Thank you, Williams. I appreciate it. Everybody got me. Y'all got me. Williams, well, yes, Montel Williams. I got it now, y'all. Thank y'all. Hey, what's up, Evie?
Hey, Montel. How you doing? Good to be on the show.
Yeah, man. Evie, it's so good to talk to you. I have been a fan of yours now because we've had so many opportunities to intersect in the She Griot season. So tell people about you and tell them how you've joined True Colors in the She Griot season.
Well, I am a local Atlanta director, dialect coach, and I joined the She Griot season. I had talked to Jamil a bit before the season, and we were just, you know, getting to know each other and stuff. And then he became artistic director, and then he asked me to come and assist him on Paradise Blue, which was an amazing experience because I got to know you better, Jamil, which was really nice. And while we were in Paradise Blue, and I heard more about Mean Girls, I was like, I have to be involved with this. Like, I don't care what I'm doing. Like, I have to do something. So I offered my services as a dialect coach, and True Colors is very great about opening those spaces and giving you those opportunities without, you know, putting you in a lab or making you do the rounds. They're like, okay, great. Lisa was like, sure. I'm like, come on, like, come do the show. So that's how I got
Shout out
involved.
to Lisa Watson, production manager. Shout out.
Lisa Watson, because she was like, come on, if you say you can do it, let's go. So those were my two experiences. So 2 of the 3 shows of the season. Might have gotten something on the 3rd if it wasn't for that pesky Corona.
You would have snuck your way up in there, huh?
Yeah, found a way, like handed out the scores or something. So.
That's good stuff. Evie, you know, one of the reasons why I was really excited to talk to you is that I don't feel like as directors we get opportunities to talk to each other enough because it is such a solo profession. We're often the only ones in the room who are holding our title or whatever you. And then often there's competition between us, right? Like if you get the job, that means I didn't get the job and vice versa. Or oftentimes more than not, some white director got the job that we didn't, right? So, you know, I wanted an opportunity to talk to you, man. Like, you know, tell me about the journey of being a director, the proving ground. How have you found navigating this moment that you find yourself in as you are on your career ascension pathway?
I think that there are different stages of becoming a director, just like there is of any other artist. I feel very lucky that I met you at this stage because I think that I'm in the stage of my life where I'm worrying a lot about self-advocacy and making my own brand as a director. I think that I got advice a while back from a white director that was directing is a very lonely experience, but I don't believe that that's my approach with it. I think it takes a village to make a director somebody who is adding to the room and adding to the artistic process. So I think that everything that I do, because I am very single-minded, I do love directing a lot. I am very single-minded in making myself a better director. Everything that I've been doing and growing as a person has been added to my journey as a director. So yeah, I would say that there are different stages to me as you are learning the professionalism and you're learning how to become a better artist. And right now, the one that I'm in is self-advocacy and getting myself in the room and believing that I should be in the room and not focusing so much on proving myself once I've already gotten the job and stuff like that. So that's where I am.
Yeah, man, owning that, standing in that truth, being who you are, and bringing what your particular aesthetic to the table. You know, so when you are finding a show that you want to direct, whether it's a show that you're about to go out and pitch and ask someone to, you know, give you the job to direct it, or if it's something that you've been given and you're like, hey, okay, here I am getting prepared for first rehearsal. Like, what are the things that you look to say, okay, how is this an EB play? How do you go about trying to put your own stamp on a show?
Well, I am still in the yes to learn stage, as Jamil would say. And so that I go into the shows almost with like an improv thing, a yes and, like a, maybe I wouldn't have chosen this show for me, but what in it, what is actually some themes and topics that I can relate to on a human level? What are some things that I want to fight for in the show is a big thing for me. What about the topics? What do I want to make it all the way to my audience is a big thing for me when I am choosing a show. And if I feel like I can't answer a lot of those questions, I don't think that the show's for me. Unfortunately, I'm a young director, so there's not a lot of times where I'll be like, no. But I do try and do that. It's how, you know, I can direct shows like The Nether, but I can also, you know, be in tears at the table of like Schoolgirls and be like, you know, this is a show that I would like love to do. And like even other shows that I've been pitching to people, that's something that I'm like, who am I fighting for? What am I fighting for topic wise in these plays? So.
Absolutely. Yeah, so anybody out there, if you need a smart director for your production of Schoolgirls or the African Mean Girls play, go find Ibi Owolabi, young director, at Young Director on Instagram. Make sure you hire her. Hire her, hire her, hire her.
Please hire
This
me.
is the best way to do it. Evie, at some point, you're going to have to change your Instagram name from young director to grizzled veteran director once you get around to it. Hey, before I let you go, Evie, I want you to get an opportunity to shout out any she griots in your life, any mentors, anybody who's helped you get to where you are, or how have you embraced being a she griot yourself?
Yeah, I think about sorry, I'm not an actor, so my voice is like going in. I think about the role of the griot to bring on the stories and bring them through oral history in that way. I was raised in a matriarchy, so I'm very used to women being the leaders and women being the ones who further the stories. And I think about historically women leading all these different political movements. We have always been the griots. So to have a whole season dedicated to women's influence on the furthering of humankind has been very beautiful to be a part of. I have to shout out my mom. I have to shout out my grandma as the two big leaders in my family, who through food and love and lots and lots and lots of, so they're Caribbean women, so lots of
Hey,
talking,
hey,
lots
shout
of
out to your
stories.
mom for some of that food, though, man. Shout out mom for that
Listen,
food.
listen, and she'll put so many stories in it and tell me how she got there and what they
Word.
did and stuff. So I definitely being able to do the same thing to bring culture in a show like Schoolgirls, where I had these beautiful, receptive women. Shout out to the cast, shout out to Tinashe, shout out to Cynthia, shout out to Lisa, shout out to every woman that walked through that door, who, who embraced the different cultural things that I was trying to weave in through dialect. So it was more than just the love of the story, it was the love of telling it in this specific way. So that's who I would shout out She Griots wise, is the cast and crew of Schoolgirls.
Good stuff.
Love
Evie, man,
y'all.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you joining us again. Y'all hire EB. You are not going to make a mistake if you go with EB as your director. Thanks for joining us, and we're about to go ahead and get a chat on with the last member of the crew for today, Lauren Ashley Richards. She played Erica Buapo in the piece. And I'm really excited to bring her on. Before I bring Lauren on, just wanted to say after our interview with Lauren, we'll still be live for a little bit longer. So if you have any questions, for anybody who you saw today or heard from today, please go ahead and get those, drop those in the live comments. I believe several of them are still on, so I'll be able to bring them back on if you have any questions for them individually. All right, Lauren, where are you? What's going on, Lauren? Thank you so much for joining us here today. Hey.
Hello.
Welcome.
What's up, Jamil?
Hey,
Good to see you.
Good to see you. How are you holding up in this coronavirus time?
It's going. It's
Yeah.
going.
Yeah,
I'm
man.
trying my hardest to keep busy being creative or just, whether it's reading a book or just watching more TV for analysis, just anything to try and get my creative juices flowing a bit, because it's hard for me.
Yeah, no,
I like to be busy. If I'm not busy, I can fall into a rut. So
yeah, I get that. I experience some of the same stuff, always needing to be busy. So let's talk a little bit about the show, Erica Buapo.
Okay.
Tell us a little bit about your character and your approach to it.
Yes. Okay. So Erica Buapo was the new kid at Aburi Girls High School. She came from America, and she went to Ghana. So she was just new, and she just was so excited to be amongst African Americans. She wasn't not African Americans, Africans. She wasn't used to it, being from America and being around a lot of white people. So Erica was just so excited to be in a new place, a new start for her, after a hard time. I won't get into it if people haven't seen the show, but she has had a rough past. So she was just, she's just the new kid on the block and just trying to make friends, basically. But Paulina, the head of the girl group, couldn't stand her. And that goes into a whole nother discussion on why she didn't like her. But she made friends with everybody else, basically, like Nana and Mercy and Gifty. And Ama, of course, Destiny, shout out to you. And my approach to the character was, oh gosh, Erica and I are just very, very similar. I drew upon a lot of my own experiences growing up as a light-skinned African-American woman. And also, she was just so positive and kind towards people, but also had a mean streak. And I was trying to think about how I related to that. All of us on that stage was a mean girl in her own way. Mm-hmm. So, and that was something that our director, Tinashe Kajese Bolden, who's incredible, wanted us to bring to the table, was that we were all mean girls. And that was hard for me. That was a hard approach for me, because I always try to be a good person, especially with my characters, but all characters are flawed in their own ways. And so that was something else that I had to dive into, was thinking about how I could bring my own mean girl to the table with Erica, and just all my own past experiences. So yeah, and just created a backstory too on her past and why she was the way she was. So that's also good acting work. So I recommend it for anybody. It helped me a bunch.
One thing that I remember for our community conversation, My Black is Beautiful, it was really your new girl experience, because at that point you had not met anybody in the company. So you were showing up for the first time. Can you take us back to what that moment is? What is that moment like in meeting a group of artists for the first time, and knowing that you're about to embark on a journey together?
Oh yeah. Well, for me, honestly, I haven't done a full-length play in a very long time. Last time I did a full-length play before this was senior year of college. And so I was so excited, not only because I loved the play and I loved the character, but I was, the cast, and you know this, Jamil, but for all the people who don't know this, growing up, I didn't really feel accepted into the Black community because of how I looked. I didn't. And I will admit, I was a bit nervous going into the process. I was like hoping that everybody would really like me and that we would get along just fine. And I cannot tell you how amazing everybody in this cast and crew has been to me the minute I stepped into it. It was perfect. Everybody was so warm and welcoming, and I honestly haven't experienced that much in my lifetime. Just a whole group of beautiful, confident, strong Black women just loving and accepting me for who I am and how I look. And it was just great, and I can't even put into words how much this experience means to me. So embarking on that journey too, like you were saying, as an actor, there's nothing like it. There's nothing like knowing you're about to start on a new project, that the script is incredible, and especially with that first table read, oh man, I was like, this is gonna be good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
and I was excited. I was like, let's go, because Tinashe, all of the cast and YouTube crew can speak that she put us through the ringer in the best way possible. And it was awesome. I loved it, and actors embraced that. So yeah,
man, shout out to Tinashe Kajese Bolden, like, for real.
Yes.
Tinashe is great. Much like I said with Evie, go hire her, but Tinashe she ain't got no shortage of work right now. So we're really excited that Tinashe was able to bring her talents to this show, because she really helped make it as special as it was, especially with you all leading on the stage every night. I want an opportunity to give you a chance to shout out any she griots in your life, or how have you come to understand and or embrace the term?
Yeah. Oh man, as an actor, you are a storyteller. And like Brittany was saying earlier, I totally get what she was saying when she realized that she was herself a she griot when the little girl was coming up to her, talking to her. I've had several experiences during that play where light-skinned women came up to me crying, saying, wow, that was my life. Like, that was my life growing up in high school. And I just felt so honored that people were just so empowered by the show and that it just touched them in certain ways. And that's just reminded me that I love doing what I do in terms of acting. It's just, there's nothing like that feeling when somebody is so just grateful for the role that you did because it touched them in a way that they haven't been touched in a long time or ever before in that way. And I'm just rambling. I don't know where my
No,
mind
you're
is all over
good.
the place.
You're good. You're good. You're good. It's
But
good.
no, yeah, but in terms of She Griots, man, my cast, I'm sorry, you guys are all incredible storytellers and just keep going with it. I know that it's just you all are just so passionate and bring that passion with every role you get. And I would also, you know, Evie already said it, Brittany already said it, but my mom is a She Griot, and she's not even a performer, but she is such a storyteller. And she is always saying such silly stories to me and just stories from her childhood and growing up and her experiences. And I would just say that's so important, and we need to keep doing that with future generations and with our children and their children. Keep telling the stories of your childhood and your experiences, and bring your culture into the next generations, because it's just so important and it can change the world, and it can make people want to become storytellers like my mom did with me. Because of her stories, I feel like she made me want to become an actress.
That's good stuff.
So,
That's good
yeah.
stuff, Lauren. Well, thank you very much, man. I appreciate it. I look forward to seeing you on stage again whenever you make your stage return. But we know we see you all the time in commercial and print work as
Ah,
well. So thank you.
not now,
Thank you for
but
that. Yeah. Fingers crossed when we get back. So thanks for joining us today. We appreciate you.
thank you guys. Stay safe, guys.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Jamil. Bye.
Yo, man, that was an amazing time. I really enjoyed it. It was also cool to see a couple of people from the show. Isoke, I saw you sign in. Valika, what's up? Good to see you all as well. Checking in as we had a chance to check in with several of the people who helped to make Schoolgirls of the African Mean Girls play possible, which was the second show in our She Griot season, our 1920 season. Our third show, Marie and Rosetta, which would have been directed by Andrea Fry, music directed by S. Renee Clark. We decided to postpone the show. Right in this moment, it's impossible to know when we'll feel safe to gather again and share our stories and listen to the She Griots in our community. But know that True Colors is committed, deeply committed to that production. We've already cast the show. We've put designers together for it. So as soon as we are out of this quarantine, we're able to bring you that show, we will. So just know that we will conclude our She Griot season as soon as possible before we move on to our upcoming season. And I teased it on one of these episodes, maybe episode 1, but we'll work with the idea of joy and pain, these seemingly separate emotions. But for those of us who are theater lovers, we know of the laughing mass and the crying mass. So we know that theater at its core is about celebrating those separate emotions, Shakespeare and the tragedies and the comedies. But specifically for us as a theater that is about celebrating Black storytelling tradition, joy and pain really are feelings that to be Black in America is to live with both of those feelings at the ready at any given moment. It is how we take hard moments, like in this moment where we're finding out that the majority of the coronavirus deaths are Black people, but how we are also going to find ways to celebrate and leading with creativity, and the viral stories that we see that are coming, the dance craves and moves are coming from Black bodies. It is how we know in being Black in America and celebrating joy and pain is to have situations like Tatiana Jefferson in her house playing video games with a family member, and how her life can be taken away by the actions of others. So to be Black is to know what that is, to celebrate those two things and to hold those two things inside of us at all times. So in True Colors upcoming season, what is expected to be our 2020-2021 season, we'll be celebrating and investigating joy and pain. And we hope that much in the way that you supported us throughout the She Griot season, that you support us through joy and pain. So we really look forward to bringing you that, man. It has been, it's a small joy, but in the grand scheme of things in life, but a joy to be your artistic director and to try to find ways to speak to the moment. And I'm just so thankful all the time, even with those of you all who join us on the live. Your support. Continue to talk to us. Let me know what you're thinking, what you're feeling. I want to find a way to answer that with art. True Colors, we thrive at the intersection of artistic excellence and civic engagement. From the beginning of our company back in 2002, we have been centered around artistic excellence. Kenny Leon left us. The cupboards were full of artistic excellence with the work that he was able to bring to this company for the first 16 years of the company. And as we move towards our 20th anniversary season in 2022, know that artistic excellence is always going to be our top priority. But similarly to that, theater of the 21st century has to be civically minded. With so many opportunities, as we know, hey, we're at home, and what are we doing? We're connecting with the artists. We're connecting with the film artists, the TV artists. Shout out to Brittany Inge, who I saw signed in today and watched us and her work on Boomerang. So we're binge watching TV. So we know that TVs and movies are always going to be there. But the reason we miss gathering live is because there is something quintessential to the human experience that can only be captured in live performance. And the reason why we do that is because it matters to us. And at True Colors, we want to make sure that we are giving plays that matter to our communities. Why tell this story in Atlanta right now when we tell it? So we hope that when we're all back together that we can do that. Kind of want to give you guys previews to what we'll talk about in the next upcoming episodes. So I'll be joined by another special guest next week where we're going to talk about fundraising in financially fraught times. I'm really excited to be joined next week by our development director, Letitia Ellerson, who is amazing. For those of you all who do not know Letitia, get to know her. She's going to be running someone's theater soon and very soon. So we're really excited to have her join. But to talk about fundraising, as a culturally specific organization, but as a small theater company, where True Colors is just around $1.5 million, we are always the business model of theater is one that we're always chasing to try to give more content and to be as active as we can. So Letitia has done such a great job in making sure that people understand what we're doing at True Colors and to find pathways to support. But in this moment, when so many theaters and so many of my colleagues around the country are facing financial challenges on how to keep their doors open, how to keep artists paid and on payroll, I want to bring Letitia in just to talk about what is that like? What is that like trying to go out there and keep organizations going through cash flow shortages, through economic downturns and depressions and coronavirus and all this other stuff. So we hope that Letitia will be able to share some really great ideas for those of you all who are facing those challenges yourself, or for those of you all who are interested in the arts admin business. Yes, we love talking about creatives, but we also know that arts administrators help move this thing too. So we're really excited to have one of the best assets at True Colors, Letitia Ellerson, join us next week. So look out for that. We're going to continue to give you more content. I've spent a lot of time this week exploring Zoom play readings. I'm actually attending a play reading tomorrow. Shout out to Candrace Jones, the writer of a play called Flex, that unfortunately didn't get a chance to have its world premiere at the Humana Festival, but we're hoping that that play goes on and has a beautiful life. I'm going to attend a reading of hers tomorrow virtually, so my first virtual reading as an attendee, but we're going to look to try to do that work at True Colors. So look for us in the next couple of weeks as we get a handle on how to communicate to you all the artistic content that we know that we hope that you enjoy. We'll continue to bring that to you in the next couple of weeks. Also, I've heard a lot of people ask us for master classes in this time when we have a little bit more downtime. Can we bring our amazing teaching artists together to teach master classes? So look for that. We'll be rolling out the True Colors Masterclass series in the next couple of weeks too. So True Colors readings will be coming to you in the next couple of weeks. True Colors Masterclasses coming out in the next couple of weeks. And please check back here 1 p.m. on Thursdays for the next episode of True Colors Podcast. And again, we'll be joined by Letitia Ellerson, Development Director at True Colors next week. Fundraising in financially fraught times. I'll be around. Stick around. I got about 12 minutes before I say that I'm going to sign off, and maybe 12 minutes before my daughter wakes up and Lauren and I have to go be parents again. I want to give a huge shout out to my wife, Lauren Jude, because She Griots is actually something that she thought of. As I was trying to figure out a term for the season, I was thinking about like hashtag listen to women or all these other things. And my wife was like real matter of fact. She's like, you should just call it She Griots. And it took me about 30 seconds, of like wanting to, dismiss it. Like, no, I'm in my artistic mode. I got something else. And I just kept on playing it. She Griots, She Griots, She Griots. And it was, she gives me great advice on the daily. But I'm really thankful for her for coming up with She Griots as a season theme. So yes, Keith Arthur Bolden said Lauren is the GOAT. Yes, she is. And the First Lady of True Colors. We're really excited and so thankful for her. So y'all, thanks again. If there are any questions or anything like that, hit me up. If you have questions for any of the people that you saw today, Kristen, EB, Lauren, Brittany, send them this way. We'll see if they have some time to come back on and answer any questions. But I don't, because it is so weird for me, I don't want to just stare off in the camera and sit here and wait for the questions to come. So we will call it if there aren't any questions and things like that. And the FLOTC, the First Lady of TC. It doesn't flow as nice as FLOTUS, but Flotic, I do like Flotic. So thanks, Keith Arthur Bolden, hashtag Bolden ENT. That was not a paid advertisement, but if you want to pay, you can donate at truecolorstheater.org, Keith, for that shout out. Hey, Kenny, we were just talking about Kenny Leon. It's good to see Kenny join us here on the live in the last couple of minutes that we have here. So just kind of recapping, y'all, today we talked to 4 of the women who helped make the She Griots season possible. Brittany Deneen, Nana, who in Schoolgirls of African Mean Girls played, Kristen Jeter, who played Mercy, Ibi Owolabi, who did the dialect work and was also assistant director for the first show of the season, Paradise Blue, and Lauren Ashley Richards, who played Erica Buapo. So we're really thankful for them. And again, next week, we'll talk a little bit about fundraising. Here's a question. Are you holding up okay? It's a weird time. It is, Jenny. It's a weird time. It's foolish of us to act like this is normal. Right, we're adjusting to a new normal, but even seeing people on social media posting pictures of them wearing face masks and things like that, it's weird. I can only ask that people stay safe. One of my best friends here, lost her mom, lost her aunt recently, and I hate that when the loss gets personal, that we start to treat this more seriously. So I'm just asking everyone, don't wait until it hits home to treat this seriously. I want to gather with you all again. So as selfishly as possible, take this seriously so that we can get back together. Because if we don't, then we're not, right? This thing will last longer. And we're going to see a lot more unnecessary deaths. We know of the toll that it is taking on communities that are so important to us. So it is imperative that for those of us who know, who understand the science, believe in the science, advocate to those who are doubters, because this shit is serious, y'all, and we got to take it serious, because if we don't, it's going to have more dire consequences, okay? So appreciate it. What's the next show that is being auditioned? We're going to have our season announcement, and then with that, we have our equity principal auditions, which is mandated by Actors Equity Association. So when we announce the season, we're looking at a mid-May announcement because we've had to shift some things around because of the virus. We will host the EPAs. Have no idea if they're going to have to all be online, if we're going to be able to do it in person, but that's when we audition. So check back with us. We'll, of course, post that stuff on our website. And with these weekly updates, with these weekly podcasts, I'll be sure to talk about it. Maybe a cast reading of the upcoming play. Yeah, so some of that is just in negotiating the rights with the rights holders, but that's definitely something that we've been thinking about. How can we get you guys Marie and Rosetta content before we're able to produce the show? Kristen Judah says, wait, I have a question. All right. Well, Kristen, did you ask your question? I'm not seeing it. Good stuff, y'all. Good stuff. Well, again, thank you all so very, very much. Kenny, that comment means a lot, especially coming from you, big time. So thank you all for checking out episode 3. And of course, shout out to the Noops. Episode 3 of True Colors podcast. Hope it was fun. This is our first time having a couple of different guests here. So that was fun. Look forward to doing that next week when we have Letitia Ellison, Development Director here at True Colors, joining me to talk about financial viability. Speaking of, Kristen did come through with her question, how important are subscribers? Subscribers are hugely important to our business model. For those arts administrators, I'll give you a quick insight to the business model. Subscribers, and when subscriptions happen in a theater season, it's often an opportunity for us to get cash flow in during a season announcement that can help sustain us, especially when shows aren't running. Also, subscribers let us know how many seats that we have to fill, so it lowers the inventory of seats that we have to sell. So subscribers help us on the front end with cash flow in, and then when we are marketing and the show is running, it lets us know, okay, we don't have to fill 375 seats tonight because of subscribers. We only have to, fill 275 or whatever it is on any given night. So subscribers are vitally important. The subscription model is changing, right? Most theaters are looking at membership models and the like. So we, in the 21st century, as we are moving theater forward, we're all trying to navigate what the subscription model is, but subscribers are so important, and they're really important to the work that we do at True Colors. So if you haven't subscribed to the current Shigrio season, you still can, because all of our subscriptions are flex passes. So it'll give you like 4 tickets or so to Marie and Rosetta. But definitely when we announce the Joy and Pain season, we hope that you subscribe. And donors are, and sustaining donors are extremely important. And Letitia and I will talk about that again next week. Building a subscriber base. Thankfully, a lot of people have just been rocking with True Colors for a long time. So we do those subscription campaigns. We let people know the benefits of subscribing and how it's often cheaper than buying a single ticket. So that's how we grow the base. I love the arts administration questions, and next week will be an arts admin podcast. So we'll talk a little bit more about that. All right, y'all. Thank you very much. Enjoy your day. Stay home. Stay safe. Take this seriously. And find some joys in your life. This podcast today was one of the joys of my day. So thank you all very much. Check you next week.